All right. We have, let's see, good morning if you're on the Central Mountain and Pacific time zone, and good afternoon if you're East Coast.
Hey.
So, hey, let's see. We're going to sit for a little bit and wait for folks to log in. We have a few folks.
Yeah. Oh, we have like maybe 9 people so far?
Yep, 9 people. So if you're logged in, make sure I have a little sticky note up at the top in the chat box. Go ahead and grab the handout if you haven't done so already. Takora and I are going to be on camera, so you're going to want something to follow along, unless you're just a boss like that and you just want to listen.
We might have some IT gurus in the
there
chat.
You go. Or they will be after the lesson.
I know. Oh, good. I see the sticky.
Yep.
Do we want to ask people to share what their business is?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Takora Davis. In the chat, if you could just share with us the industry or the business you're in, just share if you are e-commerce professional, what type of clothing store or what type of store you have online, whether you're a brick and mortar or even a service-based business. Hi, Melissa. Please do share so we can see who we have in the room and we can help tailor our presentation to you guys. And I click the handout and it works.
Okay, awesome. Again, welcome everybody. We're going to just take a few minutes and wait for some folks to log on. It might take a few seconds or a few minute or two. And while we're waiting, go ahead and click the link in the chat box and grab the handout. And if you already have that, I'm interested to see kind of what businesses you're in. So in the chat box, type what your business is and where you are located at.
So we have Ray has management. He's doing management consulting. This is pretty awesome.
That's cool. Self-publishing company. That's cool.
I know. Health and life coaching industry. Oh, and Sharisha, you are doing training and curriculum development and business strategizing.
Nice, nice. Hi, Mom. Let's see. Document preparation services relate to healthcare. Wow, that sounds interesting. Management consulting in Fairfax, Virginia. That's BJ.
Shimwell has community arts and development. We got Atlanta, Fairfax, Virginia. Anyone in North Carolina? Who have it? It's okay if you're not.
Or Texas.
Malika, you can access the handout. It should be right in the chat. So you should be able to click it and then you can be able to, it'll open up in another browser if you're on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zena, you're in Charlotte. Me too.
Neat.
Oh, hey, Crystal. Crystal has a podcast called Them Black Moms, and she has 2 other co-hosts, and I was conversing with her earlier today on Instagram. So it's so nice for you to be here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot.
Yes.
I'm super nervous, but I'm really excited just to even see the interest in the subject. So, Anchorage. Interesting. Zena. Hi, Zena. Nikki in Atlanta. We have some folks from Atlanta. Hey, quick question. if you all came from the Facebook group, Brand Build and Launch by Arsha Jones, let me know in the chat.
Just
say hey.
Type BBL.
There you go. BBL. I want to see how many folks joined us from there.
I love that group. If you're not in it, it's an excellent resource for entrepreneurs and small business owners. It's called Brand Build and Launch with Arsha Jones. Yeah.
Well,
and Arsha Jones, she owns Tees in the Trap. So it's a great t-shirt company.
Yes. Oh, that is definitely one of the most value-added Facebook groups. Like, Facebook does not exist outside of that group. So cool. Man, we got a lot of Brand Build Launch folks. I know. All right, let's see how many folks we have logged in. We have about 30 attendees. So we'll wait just maybe one more minute and then we'll get going because I know everybody's time is limited. Yeah. I know a lot of folks are kind of on their lunch break, so we'll get started. And if they joined, then
they can catch the replay.
Yeah, they can catch the replay. Or you can catch the replay too. That's cool. So for the folks that just joined us, make sure you grab a copy of the handout. You should see a note at the top of the chat box with a link to the PDF handout that we're going to kind of run through. You don't necessarily have to follow through, but I think it might help to, keep on track with what we're talking about. So go ahead and grab that if you have not done so already. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you so much for everybody joining us. My name is Raven Willis. I am an attorney here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas. I started a couple of companies. I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur, but I also practice law. My specialties include intellectual property and contracts. And I have the beautiful Decorah Davis here with me, who has decided to co-host this webinar, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay, hi, I'm Decorah Davis, and I'm the Creators Lawyer. I own the Creators Law Firm, and I practice here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. I help entrepreneurs build, grow, and protect their business. In addition to what Raven stated, my specialty is intellectual property law. I love it. It's my jam, contracts, business formation, and advisement. So I'm very happy to be here today and co-host the webinar. And so I guess we'll just hop right into things.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have that handout, if you can pull it up, if not, it's okay. You can always get it later. But what I'll be handling and talking about is really choosing your business name and choosing a very strong name. And also allowing everyone to understand how your name can be distinguished from someone else's, so much so that you will have a strong enough name to actually get federal trademark protection. So one of the most important business and brand decisions is choosing a business name, and oftentimes a product name. It identifies and distinguishes your brand from competitors, and it directs clients and customers to your store. So when you choose a name, this can also be a source of customer confusion. It can force you to rebrand, and you can be subject to trademark infringement in the event you actually choose the wrong name. And I've had clients, and this unfortunately has happened with them, where they will have a particular, y'all see everything in my house. So they will sometimes choose a name, they love the name, they think it's awesome, but then they find out that, oh my goodness, I've actually made a mistake. I've either chosen the exact same business name as someone else, or my name is so similar to another business that it's causing confusion for consumers. And that's something that we certainly want to avoid, because you do not want to be on the receiving end of a cease and desist letter. So the standard for choosing a name is you want to avoid likelihood of confusion with the name, and you also want to look at it from the point of view from consumers. Um, when we're talking about trademarks, oftentimes people will come to me. They will say, Takora, this other business has the same name as I do, or they stole my name, but I am a business and consulting company and they sell lawn care equipment. Really, if you are a consulting company and someone else is selling equipment for lawn care, the type of customers you're going to have are two completely different sets of customers. So really, you may not have an issue of trademark infringement when those things occur. So I shared that example to share with you that there are 45 different classes of trademark protection that you can seek protection in. So for example, class 16 is for paper goods. So we can think of stationery and journals, posters. Class 25, which may be of interest to some of you, is clothing and apparel. So if you are selling goods such as footwear, jackets, pants, you're going to seek trademark protection in class 25. So this is where Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, they have probably trademarks within this particular class. Now, one of the examples that I love to give is we have Dove soap and Dove chocolate. These are brand twins, so to speak. And we've seen this before where we have two major corporations or companies and they have the same name. But why is it that the two can coexist? Dove soap has trademark protection in class 3 because that's where like cosmetics and soaps and cleaning products and stuff, they have protection. And then we have Dove chocolate, which I believe is class 30. So because we have two, even though they're the same name, they're selling completely different products. And when you want chocolate, you're not going down the soap aisle. So once you think of it from that way, and also put yourself in the point and put your point of view as that of a consumer, then you could see how even if there is a similar name as yours or the same name as yours, if you guys are in two different industries, then there might be an issue of trademark confusion. The real problem comes in when you have you're pretty much selling the same types of goods and they're being the same class and you have the same or similar name as somebody. So moving on, and I think we can also even see another example of brand twins such as Dove soap and Dove chocolate. Think of Delta faucets and Delta Airlines. That's another one. And I think Domino's Pizza and Domino's Sugar. So we have obviously the pizza brand and they're selling, and even though Domino's Pizza and Domino's Sugar, they're both selling, in the food category, what they're selling is completely different. So it's very, very interesting. So there are different levels of trademark distinctiveness. So, and there are about 5 different levels of this. So you can have a generic trademark, which you cannot seek protection for. The other 4 are descriptive marks, suggestive marks, arbitrary marks, or those that are coined or fanciful. So let's talk about a generic mark. A generic mark would be cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone. That's just what we refer to phones as. It's just a generic descriptive of it. Same thing as a chair. That's what a chair. So if I wanted to have a phone and I wanted to sell phones, but I wanted to trademark cell phone, I wouldn't be able to do it. Why? Because we want people to be able to refer to cell phones as cell phones. The same as a chair. If I sold chairs for a living and I wanted to trademark the word chair, I wouldn't be able to do that because it is the generic description of a product. And we want people to be able to call things as they are, right? So the issue will come in where maybe you are, um, you know, I think I saw somebody who had a podcast. And let's say, for instance, you had a podcast and it was for the investors, right? So this is the issue that arises like when it's a descriptive mark. Descriptive marks merely describe what it is that you're selling. So if you had a podcast and it's only for people who are investors, and you said, or chemical engineers, whatever you want to use it as the example. So I have a podcast, it's for investors, and I call it the Investors Podcast. I've literally just described what it is that I'll be talking about. And that type of stuff is not going to be able to have trademark protection either, because I'm merely describing something. So if I wanted to say the best cell phone or the fastest cell phone, you probably wouldn't be able to get trademark protection for something like that either, because you're merely describing the product that or service that you're offering. The next level and the first level where you're able to actually get trademark protection for a mark is something that is suggestive. So I think speedy printing might be a good example of something like that, where you're suggesting that the printing services that you offer are pretty fast. Or if you're suggesting something of that nature, you may be able to get trademark protection for it. The strongest marks are really arbitrary, and fanciful is the most strong. So arbitrary marks are a word that currently exists, but you're applying it to a good or service, right? So we all know about iPhones, my husband and baby. We all know about iPhones. And so the Apple phone, Apple is something that already exists. We know what that word means, but they've taken that word and they've applied it to a good or service that really isn't normally associated with it. So Apple is an arbitrary mark. So you can take words that currently exist and you can apply it to goods and services that normally aren't associated with that mark. And so Apple is a great example of that. However, if I sold apples and I wanted to trademark Apple, I wouldn't be able to do that. Why? Because it's generic. So hopefully that makes sense. And the strongest marks are those that are called coined or fanciful marks. These are marks that you just completely make up yourself. I think words such as Kodak or Panasonic, those words are completely made up that, you know, and they have the strongest protection. And sometimes words that are completely made up, they are so strong that you can prevent someone else from using it, whether or not they're selling the same types of goods or services. So those are like those five distinctive categories for trademarks. And you'll know if you kind of think about what you're doing, whether or not, well, you may or may not know, but try to think, does my marks fall into one of those categories? Is it generic? Is it descriptive? Is it suggestive? Is it arbitrary, or is it fanciful? So if you own a podcast and you want to trademark the word podcast, you won't be able to do it because it's generic. The next thing that I'll speak about is there are three different types of trademarks. So you can have a word mark, meaning just the words itself that you want to trademark. You can have a design mark, which is the logo, or you can have a composite mark. And so a composite mark is a combination of both a word mark and a design mark. So we can see that with probably Apple, since we have the Apple, which is the actual word mark, and that's actually thank you so much, Walter. Apple, you can actually trademark the word Apple in relation to computer software and services. And they just want to trademark the word Apple, no matter what color it appears in, no matter the font, however it is that they use it, the computer company Apple has protection for that. Then we actually have the logo, the apple with the bite out of it, right? And so we know that when we see that, it's referring to Max or Apple, the company, and they could even have a combination of both the Apple, which is the design mark, and the word itself. The same thing with Nike. You see the Nike, the Nike, and it kind of has a slant to it, right? And then you also have the Nike swoosh, right? So we know when we see the Nike swoosh automatically, you don't have to go up and ask somebody where they got the shirt from. You don't have to say, what store did that come from? You automatically know. When you see a Nike swoosh, that in your mind, it tells you immediately who created that shirt or that bag or whatever. So that is really important when we start thinking about trademarking logos and names. How is it identifying the source of goods? And so that's really the main thing about that. You know, how is it going to identify my goods and distinguish my goods from someone else's? So that's pretty much what I mainly wanted to cover as far as, you know, the categories of trademarks, the different levels from weakest to strongest. What Raven is going to hop and come in and talk about is searching the name for your mark, attaching it to a product or service, registering it, and monitoring it. Okay. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Takora. And I wanted to make it clear. So, and Takora, you did a really good job explaining it, but and I wanted to add to that.
Good. Go ahead.
The stronger, if you want to create a very strong trademark for your business, you want to steer clear of anything that's going to be descriptive or generic. And if you make something up, like you create a word out of your, thin air, you pick some letters and you just kind of mush them all together, that's going to be the strongest mark for you. So think about that as you, are creating your trademark for your business. And one other thing to keep in mind is that this should be the very first thing that you do before you even register for a domain, before you even create a company, before you do anything. When you are conceptualizing your business, this right here is what you need to be doing, because it's going to really suck if you don't do what Takora just explained in creating your mark. And then later on down the road, you find, oh, I've built this foundation on a mark that's either taken or that's very descriptive and generic, and you can't protect it. Mm-hmm. So this is very, very important. So that's the first step.
Because I've had, and I'll say this and I'll minimize, but I've had clients come to me. They're saying, Takora, I've got products that are, I'm about to get ready to ship. I've got my domain. I've got my business cards. Can you do this trademark clearance search for me? And it's really backwards. And I've had to come back and say to them, I've done a search. And as a result, you're actually infringing on trademarks that currently exist. And so now they have to say, am I going to continue to operate and be at risk of a cease and desist, or I'm going to have to spend money and rebrand? Yeah. And it's not fun to do that. So just make sure that this is done up front. And I'll let Raven take it away.
Thank you. Okay, so Takora covered the first part, which is choosing a name. And again, you want to make it as fanciful as you absolutely possibly can. So after you've done that, the second thing you want to do is you want to research your name. So why is this important? Because like Takora said, you do not want to infringe on somebody else's mark that's out there. But then also you want to make sure that your mark is going to be strong enough to protect it. But that's what the search is for. So you want to make sure that there is nothing that exists out there where you're going to infringe on those rights. So I've come up with my own kind of little list of steps to do. And this is kind of what I do as well. So the first thing that I do when I am trying to do a search for a trademark is I make a list. You list out, number one, you list out the actual phrase or word or slogan that you want to trademark. So I'll just use shimmer and shine for hair accessories. My daughter loves that cartoon, and that's the only thing that I can think of because that's all I watch during the day sometimes. So shimmer and shine, that's going to be the slogan that we're going to create for hair accessories. So what you want to do is first list that. Then you want to list like common alternate spellings. So maybe you want to spell shine with a Y instead of an I, shimmer with a Y, maybe leave off an M, something like creative. List all those creative variations out. Secondly, list out the synonyms of the words used. So a synonym for shimmer might be like sparkle. So shimmer and shine, you want to do sparkle and glow. Go through, find a thesaurus, list out all those synonyms for it. Secondly, you want to list out word inversions. Word inversions. So say shimmer and shine, you want to list out shine and shimmer. Okay, so we said synonyms, sparkle and glow, list out glow and sparkle. So by the time you finish out this list, it's going to be ginormous, but this is the list that you're going to use when you do a search. So once you get your list all set up, so the second step is you want to go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website. So that's http://tmsearch.uspto.gov. So number one, you search direct hits. When I say a direct hit, you want to search exactly for that slogan that you want to trademark. If you find a direct hit in the category of the goods that you want, stop right there. Don't waste any more time. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. If you find that, you can't trademark it. If you find it in other categories, you might be able to. It's not a guarantee. If it's a super popular brand, and if it's very well known, you might not be able to trademark it then. But again, search for those direct hits anyway. And then go down your list and search for all of those variations that we talked about before. You want to make sure that you are very, very thorough. This is, in my opinion, this is the most crucial part of forming your trademark. Everybody that I talk to gets I don't want to say is confused, but thinks that registering your trademark is the most important step. And I beg to differ. Registering it is not. It's the searching. So make sure you get a really good list and you search everything. Search the USPTO first. Secondly, search Google, search Bing. And I would say go deep into those pages. I have a really bad habit of when I'm searching, I get kind of impatient after the second page and I kind of give up. When you're searching for existing trademarks, don't do that. Go a couple pages deep, especially for a direct hit. I would say go, into the 10th or 15th page. Now, do you need to go into the 100th page? Probably not. That's probably not going to be a problem. So search for direct hits, search for all the items on your list on Google and Bing. Fourth, make sure you search social media, Facebook and LinkedIn. If you have a product or service, definitely search Facebook, because what a lot of folks do, especially with platforms such as Shopify and BigCommerce and things like that, you don't necessarily have to have a very popular website. It may not show up on Google until the 30th page. However, pretty much everybody has a fan page or has a page on Facebook. And so if it exists, they're probably going to be on Facebook. And the same if you have a service. A lot of folks market their services like, I'm an attorney, and when I want to grow my base of clients, I focus more on LinkedIn. So if you have a service, LinkedIn is a great source as well. So as many social media sites that exist or that you can think of, definitely go ahead and search them. If you have a physical product, I highly recommend you searching Amazon. So a lot of folks, I know for my business, I sell hydrogen peroxide-based cleaning products. When I first started out and my website was just like non-existent, I started selling my stuff on Amazon. So you're going to be able to find these brands that may not have a huge online presence, but they may have their product on Amazon. So if you have a physical product, search Amazon, and also you might want to search eBay as well. When you search, make sure you keep very thorough records of your search. You might need this down the line. Heaven forbid, the trademark already exists, but you want to be able to prove like, hey, I did my due diligence. And the way that you do that is you keep good records and make sure you store those safely. Anything with the time and date stamp, definitely keep that. Screenshots, keep that. It's going to help you in the future in case ever, a dispute arrives, and hopefully that would never happen. So the first thing, like Takora said, you want to choose a name, make sure it's as fanciful as possible. Secondly, research the name. Third, you want to attach it to your product. This is key. This is important too. All the steps are important, but this is very important. And sometimes folks kind of miss this step. So why is this important? A trademark only becomes your trademark when you attach it to a good or service, meaning when you're actually selling something. So I know that there's this one woman who coined the term eyebrows on fleek. Okay. I don't know what that means. That shows my age, but it became very popular. So what folks did is they ran and slapped that sucker on a bunch of t-shirts and a bunch of products. And then some other folks got upset because the woman who coined the term didn't make any money off of it. And why is that? Because she wasn't selling a product. If she was selling like an eyebrow pencil and she coined the term eyebrows on fleek, okay, then that might have reached the status of a trademark. But if you're not actually selling a product or service, that's not going to be your trademark, because remember, the whole purpose of a trademark is to distinguish your goods, your products, or your services. If you don't have an underlying product or service, then it's not a trademark. So along with that is, while you are conceptualizing your trademark, for goodness sakes, don't share it with anybody. I'll use an example. This actually didn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen several times. Okay, so women, you'll probably vibe with me on this one. So you know how like you're growing up, you're 8, 9 years old, and you kind of envision, what your family is going to look like. Oh, I'm going to have 2 boys and 2 girls, and their names are going to be, Jamal, Jacob, Jamila, and Jasmine, whatever. You grow up, your friends are, you and your friends have come up with, this is what I'm going to do for my family, and these are the names I'm going to have. So then as you get older, what happens? One of your friends gets pregnant before you do. And guess what? They take the name. Okay, that's kind of like the same thing that happens or can happen with trademarks. Don't disclose what that mark or what your slogan or your name or anything like that until you're actually ready to sell a product, because you don't want somebody to jump and take it before you. So the first thing, choose a name. Second thing, research the name. Third thing, attach it to your product or service, meaning actually sell a product or service and put it out there and market it. And fourth, mark your territory. When I say mark your territory, I mean if you have not registered it, what you do is you put that little superscript TM right next to it. This is important, I think, for folks, especially who sell t-shirts and things like that, because I notice in this group, in the groups that I'm in, I notice a lot of people bite hard off of other people's t-shirt slogans and things like that. Put the TM on there if it's not registered. It doesn't have to be registered to be your trademark. The minute you start using it in commerce, it's yours. So put that TM on there. And if you have registered it, then put that R with the little circle around it. Do that. What it does is it tells everybody to stay away. If people don't see that on there, a lot of folks and most people don't understand trademarks. If people don't see that on there, most people assume, oh, well, it's free to take. No, it's not. So it's a lot easier to prevent somebody from taking it, versus, trying to fight them off of it. So prevention is worth a lot. So definitely put that TM on all of your marks that are on all of your products that use your mark that you want to direct people to your brand. So choosing a name, research the name, attach it to your product, your service, you mark your territory. And fifth, and this is the most exciting part for me, is you want to equip yourself and your team with information. So Takora and I really worked hard to, provide a lot of helpful information to everybody. But to be honest, this webinar, this is in the past 30 minutes, really only just scratches the surface of what you're going to need in order to be very successful in this area of your business. There's so much to learn. So what I've done is Takora and I have worked together. I've put together a course. It's on trademarks. And currently I'm pre-selling it. I'm putting the finishing touches on it. It's going to be ready June 10th. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to walk you through the entire process of trademarking. And it's going to help you it's going to direct your attention to the aspects that are going to be the most important, which is arguably the searching process. But then, there are other parts that are very important as well. And it's going to explain all that information. So this course is going to be basically for businesses who want to save thousands of dollars on attorney's fees. Everybody probably in this room knows that attorneys are expensive, especially intellectual property attorneys. We run from our average billing rate is from $250 an hour to $500 to actually I've even seen $1,500 an hour for intellectual property attorneys. And the reason being is that intellectual property is a very highly specific practice of law. And so what you want is you want to educate your team around you. So businesses who need this information, which is every single business out there. Right now, your option is to rely 100% on an intellectual property lawyer for that. And this course is actually going to enable you to not have to rely solely on an attorney. So what the course is going to cover, it's going to give you way more details on how to come up with an original name. It's going to walk you through that process. It's going to give you details on how to analyze your search results. It's going to give you more information on, what to do when you find questionable results, where to go for free help. There's places all over the United States that offer very excellent help and for little or no cost. And it's going to give you that information. It's going to help you with, okay, what do I do if somebody infringes on your mark? It's going to give templates, infographics, downloadable documents. It's going to be awesome. And the really awesome part is there's going to be an option for you to purchase the course plus a one-on-one workshop or consultation with the creator's law firm, Takora's firm. So, and one of the great things about this course is that the license is going to be at the company level. So what that means is you purchase the course, you can have access and actually I will send you access for all of the individuals that have the email address of your company. Every single person in your company will have access to this information. So you'll be able to train the people around you so that they can either be a sounding board for you, but then also you can confidently entrust them with this type of task of creating a trademark for you. So like I said, it's just phenomenal. I'm putting the finishing touches on it. It's going to be highly useful. It's so valuable. Right now, as it is, the amount of time and effort that's going into this course, it's priced at about $9,000. That's how much hourly, that's how much I've put into it thus far. So even if I charge $4,000 for the course, it would be a great deal, but it's not $4,000. The full price of the course is going to be $1,000. And again, it's at the company level. So every single person in your company will have access to this information. However, because I'm pre-selling the course, it's only going to be $499. So here's a really cool part. So thank you so much for everybody who's joining. And everyone in the webinar is going to have the opportunity to take $50 off. So there should be an offer that's going to pop up in the chat box. I want you to click on that offer, claim it, enter the code. I think it's webinar 50, claim this offer, and then it'll take $50 off. But what I'm offering for the next 36 hours, it's going to expire tomorrow at midnight, is it's going to be, if you buy the course, you'll get a free course for your business bestie. And let me explain what a business bestie is. So I consider Takora my business bestie because she acts as a wonderful sounding board for me, and we're able to vibe off of each other. I know we kind of feel like we're in silos sometimes. So I notice a lot of folks, they're actually searching out and finding folks who have similar businesses. So your business bestie will have access to the course too. So you can split the cost. It'll be, I guess, with the $50 off, it'll be $225. You can split it between you, and their entire company will again have access to the course as well. This is great for consultation, or excuse me, for consulting companies or coaching companies. What this is, you can roll this up, this free access up, and maybe an elite package for a client that you're courting and that you want to get. Heck, you could probably even sell it. I really don't personally care, but it's you can give this code to basically whoever you want. Or if you have a virtual assistant that's very, ingrained in your business and who helps you a lot, you can offer this course to your virtual assistant so they can better assist you and that you don't have to babysit it. As entrepreneurs, our goal is to step away from the business. And so this course is going to allow you to do this. This is one of the most important things that you need to do is focus on your trademarks before you really get knee deep into your business. So if you are planning on starting another business or launching another product, then definitely you want to enable your team around you to be able to do this sufficiently, and you're not going to have to babysit it 24/7. So go sign up now. Go ahead, click on the offer, or you can go to, the website's newmillennialegal.com. That's www.newmillennialegal.com. So the deal expires tomorrow at midnight. Go now. As soon as you sign up, we'll go ahead and I will send you the code, the one-time use code for the free access, and you can distribute that how you see fit. So the lessons are going to be completed by June 10th. As soon as those lessons are uploaded, then the price is going to go up. So right now, definitely get in on that. So I hope this lesson has been helpful to you all. I hope this information will help you to better understand kind of what trademarks are and how important they really are. And if you guys have questions, go ahead and you can email me directly. And actually you can post questions here and I can take a minute, but to answer them. So Takora, did you have anything else that I missed or that you wanted to add?
I think you highlighted some key points. I think what's great about the course is that for the cost, you really can't beat it. And what I love is that it's access for the team, and not only that, you'll be able to apply the principles that you learn in the course to the other products and services that you offer within the business. Because as businesses grow, we're constantly reinventing ourselves. So one year you may offer one particular line of products or services or even digital products. And then the next year, obviously, you probably want to build from that. So you may have to think of a new name. And so having access to that course, having a team that has access to it, I think it's just invaluable. Our hourly rates are for both Raven and I are around $250. So whether you have to set up a 1-hour legal consultation, or if you have access to a course and the ongoing support of an attorney, you're going to save a lot of money in legal fees. And so I think it's just a wonderful, opportunity for those of you all to really consider it and have it, as a tool and a resource in building your business.
Exactly. And also one thing to note is that even if you, in your business, you use a lawyer, this course isn't necessarily going to completely replace your lawyer. What it's going to do is it's going to help you to use your lawyer more wisely. You're going to be able to ask better questions so that you can get better information. And it's going to save you money, and you're not going to waste your lawyer's time. Although some lawyers are happy to for you to waste their time, because they're going to bill you.
They will. They will take your money.
Exactly. So this is going to help you to do that. And then also, that free consultation, or not free, but the consultation is at a greatly reduced rate. So you can get the best of both worlds. You can get the course, and plus you can get, trademarking help. So I know a lot of companies who have not gone through these steps prior to launching may have a little bit of trademark problems. So you can use the workshop to help, figure out what's going to be your course of action to remedy that and to fix it. And it's fixable. It might cost you a little bit, but it is. And so you can use that to help do that. So, all right, let's see. So Nikki says, is it easy to register a trademark with a name in it? Locks by Laura. It depends.
That's an attorney answer, but it really does depend. Go ahead, Raven.
Okay, it depends. Usually, the USPTO does not like you to try to register trademarks with the names of a living person. However, Laura, it's going to be hard probably, because think of it like this. If somebody else by the name of Laura tries to start a business, say Locks by Laura, so start a business having to do with hair care or hair products, they're not going to be able to do that if Laura is already trademarked. So that's why it's probably going to be difficult. You want something that's going to stand out to people. That's what's easily trademarked. So the word Laura, even though it's probably your name, it's not going to grab your customer's attention and be like, hey, look at me. That's really that's what you want in a trademark. You want it to grab the person's attention, say, hey, look at me. So Laura isn't probably going to do that. But then also, like I said, if you trademarked it, then that means that another person with the name Laura isn't going to be able to use it. So the government's probably not going to go for that. So I'd say probably not.
And so I hear what Raven is saying, and I'm not saying it's not impossible. I agree with her. Mm-hmm. There have been people who have been able to trademark the name of their business. It has been a little bit more difficult. There are certain disclaimers that you would have to do. You might have to say, I'm disclaiming the word Laura apart from the name, and that, you're not saying nobody else can use the name Laura in their mark. So, and there are other, like I know we think of maybe Paul Mitchell or these big brands, and they have names in it. So it's not impossible. It's probably not easy, which was the question. It's just something to know and consider, especially if, for instance, earlier this year, probably a month ago in the brand building launch group, I shared that there was another young lady, I forget her name, she owned something called Glam University. And what she did was she took the name of someone else, Shekinah Joe, and Shekinah is friends with T.I.'s baby mama. I don't know the situation, but anyway, Shekinah has like hair extension line and stuff like that. And so she trademarked her name, but she didn't trademark her name. She filed for federal registration of her name. One, you can't trademark somebody else's name. Two, you can't falsify government documents by claiming that you're using a name and you're not really actually using it in business. So it can be very thick, and I think it's really, really fact specific. So you would really need an attorney to look at it and do a clearance search and advise you if you have such a unique situation as you have, or at least with that example. Do we have any other questions? I'm sure we do. And if there was something we discussed and you need more clarification on it, please share away. Because with us, this is second nature. So we may have we're talking legal speak and it doesn't make sense. So
exactly. Yes. And thank you to Cora for pointing that out. So I was not clear. So the Laura part was the part that I was questioning and saying, it's going to be difficult. But here's one thing. Even if the trademark isn't registerable right now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be registerable later. So you can have something that's a little bit more, a little bit of a weaker mark. But what happens is if you use it for a long period of time, it acquires basically secondary meaning. So you can then register it, like American Airlines. I mean, that's like ridiculously generic.
It totally is. So it,
but it's registered because they over time were able to market it, and everybody knows when they see American Airlines, they
yep.
associate it with that brand. So remember, that's the whole purpose of it, is to associate it with a particular brand. So if you market something, even if you have Locks by Laura, you market the snot out of that for years, and now everybody knows it, then at that point you have a much stronger chance to do it.
Much stronger, yeah. At that period of time, it's either 5 years or you have to have significant marketing behind it, like Raven was saying. We have a few more questions. Zena says, I feel like you just answered this, but in the situation of a sole proprietorship where your name has to be used unless you file for a DBA, will it still be difficult to trademark? Well, okay. So it doesn't matter whether or not you have like a corporate or government entity that which you filed, or if you're operating as a sole proprietor. Both are legal businesses, or both are legal structures for a business. And businesses do not have to be the one that always own the trademark. An individual can actually own the mark. The real issue is the mark being associated with goods and services that you're selling in commerce? Is it affecting commerce? And when we say commerce, that means, are you selling it, and is money or value being exchanged? And I believe across state lines, right, Raven?
Across state lines, yep.
Across state lines. So we can't
for
federal trademark, right? Because if you're only operating in North Carolina and you don't intend to go anywhere else, then you can't really kind of lean on the federal trademark system to benefit you. You would be better off, getting a state trademark. But most people don't do that. Most people just do the federal mark. So it's not necessarily difficult to trademark because your business is a sole proprietor. The issue arises is, are you actually offering services, and is it affecting interstate commerce?
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
We got like 3 more questions.
Okay, so Ashley,
let's see. One.
Okay.
That's like copyright and trademark.
Okay, I'll answer that one directly. Okay. Let's see. It would be easier to protect third. Okay. T just said, is it possible to register a hashtag? It would be used in commerce. Just wondering if I'd need to separate it out, or if I could actually use the hashtag in the trademark application. Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible.
And that's actually,
yeah, and I was going to say, it might actually distinguish it a lot better than not having a hashtag. It depends on the actual mark. Now, you still have to meet the requirements of a trademark, meaning it can't be something generic or descriptive. You have to attach it to your product. It has to be used across state lines and things like that. But if it meets all those other requirements, then yes, you should have no problem registering, a slogan or whatever, if it has a hashtag in it. So I think so. And also you can trademark a website, like if it has a .com in it. I think of the top of my head. There's a bunch of them that
maybe 1-800-flowers.com or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those are trademarked, like the .coms. So yeah, you can definitely have the hashtag, a dot in it, a question mark, or whatever.
Right. And Walter, you're asking, you said, would it be easier to protect 3D files, design, copyright, or patent? All right. So patents protect inventions. So there are 3 different types of patents. We have design patents, which they protect the ornamental features, meaning the aesthetic of the way something looks. A trademark can actually protect the design or packaging of something. You have plant patents, which is what I used to kind of work with. I'm not a patent attorney. Don't ask me to do a patent. I can't do it.
Neither am I.
Right. You got to get a patent attorney to do it. I know enough to be dangerous, though. But a plant patent means not for a natural plant, but a man-made plant. And then you have a utility patent, right? So utility patents can be, you can get a utility patent for software or computer software. However, you can also copyright the actual software code. So that's possible. Hopefully that answers your question, Walter. know we're getting a lot of different questions.
Okay, so I'll answer the private questions probably after directly. I can't tell if it's intended to be answered in front of everyone, so I'll just veer on the side of caution, not
But
into the
what
private.
I'll do it like a general sense.
Oh, you want?
So
Okay, go for it.
someone said, how can a trademark benefit my business? Right.
Oh,
I only need to do business in more than one
oh,
state.
I see.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a trademark can benefit your business by preventing somebody else from taking your goods and services and confusing people. Here's one issue in real life that I have going on right now. I have a local client. He has a presence here in Charlotte, North Carolina. He sells a specific particular item, grills actually. He sells fronts, he sells grills, and he has a particular name for that business. Someone else across town has put up a sign and they have used his exact name. He's actually advertising on the radio, and these people are saying, "Oh, well, we're the such and such." So other people in this town have actually went to the competitor, or actually the infringer. They've purchased fronts from them, and then they come back to his location like, "Yeah, I went to your location on the south side and they messed up my grill." And he's like, "I don't have another location on the south side." So, and he's like, "Well, you still have to pay me for the grill, right?" The issue now comes when you have somebody who uses your business name and they're selling the same or similar products, right? And now they're hurting your brand and your name, because how am I going to distinguish Target from Walmart? There's already an assumption made. People go to Target because they feel like it's better, it's classier. Some people say Walmart's dirty, whether that's classist or racist or whatever. We won't get into that. But people have a certain perception in their mind based on the name alone. So that's how a trademark can benefit you. It can help you because, one, you have access to federal courts. If somebody is infringing on your mark, you can actually send them a cease and desist. And not that you can't do that if you don't have a trademark, it's just much more difficult. And because the law will be on your side. If you have a federally registered trademark, then the assumption is you're the original owner of the mark. It's not going to be a competition over who used the mark first, who owns it first. It's not going to be any of that stuff going on. So that's what benefits you from having a trademark. Like, and you don't want someone to dilute. Well, I don't want to say dilute your mark. That's a different thing. But you don't want someone to tarnish your brand, your image, because they're using your mark and they are basically screwing customers over, for lack of a better word.
Exactly, because businesses put a lot of money into advertising, put a lot of money into marketing it, and put a lot of effort into building up that reputation.
Yeah.
So the government's not going to look kindly on someone who goes and takes a mark or a word that people trust and then use that to, pander off a product that's sub quality. That's not fair. So that's why having a trademark is so important, in making sure that you keep the integrity intact for all of that effort that you've put into your product.
Right.
I sell physical products. I sell, like I said, cleaning products. I put a lot of time into creating a product that my customers know is high quality. And you best believe that if somebody starts trying to market something, with my name, I'm going to have an issue with that, because I put so much into just building my reputation. And that means a lot. I mean, that means a lot, because say I want to launch another product under my name, Pure Cleaning. If I wanted to launch another product, my customers see the name and say, "Oh yeah, that's a really good brand. I trust her." So that's why it's so important, and that's why the government is great with protecting it.
Mm-hmm. And even with my business name, The Creator's Lawyer, I love my name. I'm intending to trademark it. I probably need to make sure Raven looks over my work when I do it. But I don't want another trademark attorney to call themselves the creator's lawyer or say they own the creator's law firm, right? Why? Because I don't want someone in thinking that they're going to get trademark services from another attorney because they have a similar name as me, and then they don't receive the type of legal services that I would offer. So it's important for us too to protect our marks, because of that very reason. I don't want someone to dilute my brand, and I don't want to lose customers because they think that they're going to me, but in fact, they're going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Purecleaning.com. And what's your website?
It's pure PYOURE cleaning.com. That's my company, my other company. That's my baby. One of my babies. Let's see. I don't see a whole lot of other questions.
I think we had one about, and as a real quick, quick aside, I think I saw another question because areas of intellectual property can overlap. So how I talked about having a design patent can overlap with like a trademark. Like the Coca-Cola bottle has a trademark on the shape of the bottle because if you look at that bottle, you know Coke was in it. Or even those nasty Peeps, the candy sticks. Oh, it's so disgusting. But they actually have a trademark on the Peep because you know when you see it who sells it. So I don't know what I was gonna say.
You're saying
so they overlap. Yeah. So someone was asking about, I think, a T-shirt or something like that, or just remember that trademarks protect things that identify your brand. So what happens is when people want to put slogans and stuff like that on T-shirts, you have to ask yourself, should I be copywriting the design of the shirt, or is it really a trademark? Because if the trademark or the name on the shirt does not identify your company, then it's really, I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's really not the intention of a trademark. You may want to look into copyright protection. And you may also want to set up a legal consultation so you can get clarity.
So Cora, there's a question. Let's see. So if the creator's lawyer is not yet trademarked, what would happen if someone started using your name? What could you do to stop them?
Oh, isn't this fun? I would be really, really mad. That's one. Then I would calm down. I would send them a cease and desist because I still have common law trademark rights to my name because I've been serving clients all over the country. And so if someone did try to use the name and they're using the same, or they're offering the same types of services as me, I still will have grounds to stop them because of that. Or even if somebody, registered the creator's law firm or lawyer.net, and then when people went and they typed my name in, but it rerouted them to another attorney's website, that's called cyber squatting, and that's illegal too. So there are certain things that I could do to stop somebody, even though I don't have trademark protection, but I need to get it together myself, like I said, to make sure that I do that so that my mark can be protected too.
Yeah. And another point, and we stressed it a little bit earlier, but your mark does not have to be registered in order for it to be your trademark. Right. So once you start using it in commerce, it's your trademark. So if you haven't registered it, that does not mean it's not your trademark. Right. I hate to repeat myself, but I wanted to emphasize that.
And Malika, you're asking a very specific, right now what you're asking for is legal advice when you're asking, can you trademark a name or not? We can't really answer that question without conducting a trademark clearance search. That would just be malpractice. So like when we were talking about doing a search at first and making sure that you actually have rights to a name, is it possible? It may be possible, but we don't know without looking at your specific situation and conducting a proper search.
Yeah. Let's see, if you plan to use the mark as part of a social media campaign as well as a product, should I do both a trademark and copyright? Okay, so if it's a short phrase, like a little slogan, you're probably not going to be able to copyright it. If it's a picture, if it's a work of art, that falls into the copyright arena. Right. So whether or not you're going to use it in social media has no bearing on whether or not it's a copyright. So if you plan on using the mark in social media to sell a product or service, then that could be considered a trademark. Remember, it has to meet all the requirements, meaning it can't be generic. I mean, all the steps that Takora talked about first, and then I went through. So it could, but remember, it needs to be, the intent of the trademark is to point to your brand, is to point a product or service toward your brand. So again, it really, it just depends on kind of what it is, what's the purpose of using it. So it could be considered a trademark, but copyright, if it has a design in it, then it would be probably covered under copywriting. So see, in commerce means money must change hands or will be working pro bono to test out product services be okay.
I think both of our faces are like, this is like a law school question. Raven, let me know if you agree with me.
Okay.
The point of protecting a mark is not like, if you're doing pro bono work, you're not really affecting interstate commerce because it's for free. So I don't know if that arises to it now, unless you're like a nonprofit organization. But even still, I'm just not sure about that. I'm not sure. It just seems like I don't think that pro bono work will arise to the level of being in commerce, because I think that the standard that the USPTO has set is you have to have value, exchange for value. Like, you can have a contract with somebody and you exchange services or product, and there's a contracts don't mean that money has to be exchanged. You could be exchanging value for value and then bartering. But I don't really think that pro bono, Raven could disagree with me, but I don't think pro bono work is going to qualify.
Yeah. I think it probably, speaking as a lawyer, I could probably argue that even though it's pro bono, you might want to do it for exposure.
Yeah.
And for sales down the road, you could argue it. We lawyers, we can spin anything.
Right.
So, but generally, yeah, I think you're right, Takora. It probably wouldn't. You'd have to do some semantical gymnastics, like at the Olympic level, to be able to make it work, I would think. But it's not, I don't think it would be impossible. Nothing's ever really black and white with the law. So it'd be difficult, in my opinion, pretty difficult. So let's see, let's see. Yes, if you have additional questions, definitely you can reach out to Takora. The email that I think is on the landing page, it should be on the landing page, but Takora gave you her web address. Takora, you can give them your email again. You can type it in there. But yes, you can definitely reach us via email and ask questions directly. I also have a Facebook group. It's called Free Legal Resources. If you go to Facebook and you just type in Free Legal Resources, you'll see it. I try to answer as many general questions as I can there too. Please don't put anything specific to your situation on there, because anything you post is discoverable.
Right.
Yeah, it's not confidential. But if it's a general question, definitely reach out. I'm on Facebook like 24/7, not lying. I answer questions at midnight sometimes. So post it there, but definitely email either one of us. So again, this course, definitely sign up for the course. It's going to help you to be able to think through a lot of these questions on your own, and you won't, again, be necessarily tied to asking a lawyer for them. So,
right.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. It's 12:07. We've been on for a little over an hour. Thank you so much, Takora, for doing this with me. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you for asking.
So wonderful. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you want us to do this again, send us a note. Let me know. Put something in the chat room if we have time. I would love to do this again. I think it was fun, and we'll come up with another topic.
Yeah.
We troll the Facebook group Brand Build and Launch pretty regularly.
Yeah, we're there.
that's how we came up with this subject. There's a lot of questions going on. So we'll be kind of on the lookout, trolling it some more for just to keep our fingers on the pulse of what everybody's thinking. So we'll be on the lookout. So thank you again. Thank you to Cora, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.